If you stick a vacuum hose on your neck,
What about... Never mind.
strong suction pulls at your skin, stretching it and breaking tiny blood vessels underneath. These vessels leak blood, creating a noticeable bruise.
Yo, everybody thought about putting a body part in the vacuum hose. Like once, though. Like on who we ain't all think about doing that at least one time, bro. Who's everybody? Like the real is, bro. I'm just telling the truth, man. You caught? I'm not even caught. I'm just telling the yo. God forbid, bro. I ain't gonna lie. They hate people that tell the truth. Martin Luther King was hated because he told the truth.
Where have you been?
Hey guys, Blue right here, and today we're looking at some more Zack D films content. Probably gonna see some. Hey, Blue Rod, shut the. Yo, we're gonna see some more Zack D films content. Hopefully, we don't see motherfuckers lose their limbs, but that's probably all you see on here. So we just gonna see motherfuckers worst deaths of all time, to be honest, on this. But anyways, the Ross is on too. Twist Blue Rock in the description. Come to the stream. Come to the stream.
The microphone was hidden inside a special gift to the U.S. ambassador, and he proudly displayed it in his study. Now, the mic had no wires or batteries. It worked when sound waves from the room would vibrate a small piece of metal inside. Then, spies would aim their own radio signal at the bug, allowing it to transmit the vibrations. And they would listen to every conversation, but eventually a British radio operator accidentally tuned in to the radio signal and overheard the conversations. He warned the ambassador, who finally found the bug.
L snitch. You snitching for what reason? Bro, you act like he gonna give you wop wop because of that. Sir, I don't know if you know that lame ass. Like, come on, bro. Why you telling people, bro? You ain't get no extra money from that. You ain't get no higher position, bro. Just snitching just to snitch. Just for the love of the game, bro. Bro, they probably called bro talking about some crazy conversations. Bro's already talking about getting his butt eaten.
An airplane dropped a frozen chunk of sewage over a park, according to the legend. It allegedly fell toward a man balancing on a seesaw for fun. The
There's no way this happened, bro.
block hit the other end of the seesaw with perfect force, launching him straight into the air. He flew high before landing chest first on the crossbar of the swing set. The impact broke his ribs.
Yeah, that's some Final Destination shit, bro. How do you even avoid that? There's actually no way.
Which punctured his heart and lungs, causing massive internal bleeding. Within seconds, he died from the injury, collapsing lifelessly on the swing set, according to the story.
So who's responsible? Who do you blame for that? The pilot, the airplane? Like, what? Yo, I'm not gonna lie, gang. This all happened to us before. Luckiest of all time. If that is you in your situation, bro, you low-key gotta chop it up to the game, bro. Because there's like, bro, I'm on a seesaw. A random chunk of ice out of all locations, not even the ground right over there, goes to the other side of the seesaw, has me fly up, bro, and I get my chest caved in, which pokes in my heart. Nah, that's actually sick, bro. Falls under an act of God. Bro, I'd be so mad. Well, I mean, there's no room to be mad because, you're kind of, but that's tough.
He climbed over the zoo fence so he didn't have to pay for a ticket, but he didn't realize he was entering the tiger enclosure. The tigers watched as he fell from the fence. Then one attacked. People screamed as they watched, and zoo staff tried to help. They used fireworks and water hoses to scare the tigers, but they only stopped when a police officer shot one of them. By the time they reached the man, he had been in the enclosure for nearly an hour. He was taken to a hospital, but the injuries were too severe.
We just seen like a body cam like this not too long ago. A dude who's climbing into like a lion enclosure or a tiger enclosure or something. Bro, why do you keep with these animals like this shit is sweet? Like, is like you're supposed to be in there, bro. What do you really think is about to happen, bro? We already got 2 deaths already, bro. Plumber reclogs pipe for revenge.
He pulled out grease and rotting food, which
y'all eating this.
Cleared out the pipe, but the restaurant refused to pay, saying it was too expensive. So the next morning, he came back with a balloon. He stuffed it in the grease trap and inflated it, blocking off the pipe. And this would flood the kitchen with dirty water. He told them he wouldn't remove it unless they paid him within the hour. Left with no choice, the owners handed over the money, and the plumber removed the balloon.
That's some severe hate, bro. Like, gang, you were dead as a hater, bro. I can't even like not respect it though. You know, like this hating via plumbing, you gotta kind of respect it. To be honest, bro.
Each step forms a perfect square, turning at each corner like a normal staircase. But even though each step seems to rise, it never gets higher or lower. As your eyes follow the path, it feels like an endless climb that never actually gets anywhere. And this happens because your brain looks at the lines on the page and automatically views them as a 3D staircase. But if it were actually 3D, and you viewed it from the side, you would see there's a gap between the stairs, meaning this illusion only works in 2D. Each step...
I'm not gonna lie, this some illusion. I heard that there's definitely some optical illusion type shit, bro. Okay, interesting fact. Nobody died in that one, that's good.
Straight at the Pope in the...
Oh. Okay, well, spoke too soon.
He fired straight at the Pope in the middle of a crowded square. 2 bullets tore through, hitting him in the stomach and he collapsed, bleeding badly, but survived with emergency surgery. And years later, the Pope publicly forgave the man who shot him, and even met with him face to face. He placed the recovered bullet into a crown on a statue, claiming that God had guided it away from his vital organs.
Yeah, he better than
he
me.
Fired.
I think I remember this, bro. I'm pretty sure the person who shot at him, bro, like he either got extradited, bro, or he's just out now. I'm not gonna lie, bro. The shot at me almost killed me, bro. He a better man than me, bro. I guess that's it. The whole point of it is to be forgiven. But he way better than me, bro. Bro, not only did he forgive him, bro, came face to face and is talking to him face to face.
Even met with him face to face. He placed the recovered bullet into a crown on a statue, claiming...
Bro said guns didn't exist back then.
The old saw blade is cut using high-pressure water jets. These are powerful enough to cut through steel, but they leave a rough edge. To fix this, the metal is spun around with soapy ceramic pebbles, and these slowly polish it down. Once it's smooth, the edge is heated until it glows, and it's quickly cooled in oil to harden the steel. A handle is attached to the end, and finally, the blade is sharpened, making a new knife out of an old saw.
That's actually fire.
The old
Bro, that's actually really hard. Giant mirrors light up the darkest town.
The sunlight bounces off the mirrors until the beam is directed into the town square, lighting up the small area. And this is because the town is surrounded by steep mountains, which cast it entirely in shadows for half of the year. The sun is too low in the sky to rise above these peaks, so every day people gather in that single bright spot, soaking up the only sunlight they'll get.
God, that's actually kind of lit though. That's actually low-key kind of lit. Them eyes is gonna be burning though, but that's actually kind of fire, bro. How World War II used suicide dogs? I don't know why I'm surprised with anything regarding World War II at this point, bro. But y'all was using suicide dogs, bro? Dead serious?
The dogs were strapped with explosives and starved, and treats were placed underneath the tanks. The hungry dogs learned to run underneath them in search of food. Then the explosives were fitted with a trigger stick, and in battle, the dogs would run under enemy tanks, thinking they'd find something to eat. The stick would hit the vehicle's side, setting off the bomb and killing the enemy. But when they tried this in the field, the dogs actually ignored the enemy tanks. Instead, they ran toward their own tanks, since they...
Hey, bro! You stupid dog! Hey, that's kind of a W, bro. Y'all gonna use me to bomb them, bro, and I get to lose my life? Hey, it is what it is, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go out anyway, bro. I'm gonna do it on my own terms.
Actually ignored the enemy tanks. Instead, they ran toward their own tanks, since they had been trained on those. Sadly, the soldiers shot them before their own tanks would explode.
They was already about to send these dogs to death, bro. The dog's just not crying, bro. Watch who you call your homie. RP the dog, bro. RP the dog, bro. Could a huge frog swallow you? I'd hope not.
frog grew to the size of a car, it could definitely swallow you whole. But frogs eat by opening their mouths wide and sucking in their prey. Now, even if it managed to swallow you, it can't digest something that big. It would eject its entire stomach through its mouth, flipping it completely inside out, forcing you up its throat. Then the frog swallows the stomach back down, putting it back in place.
That's not disgusting at all, bro. What the f? It's like Konosuba, you know, ball.
You drop a plastic bottle in the ocean. Currents can carry it for miles until it vanishes into a massive swirling zone of trash. You see, in the 1980s, scientists started finding tiny plastic pieces floating in the ocean. And they predicted that the plastic would get trapped in this spot where ocean currents met. 10 years later, a sailor passed through that area and was surrounded by miles of trash. By 2015, scientists launched a massive expedition.
There's probably so much trash in the ocean, like this is dead ass cooked, bro. This is dead ass like cooked, bro.
To measure it, they found over 1 trillion pieces, more than twice the size of Texas. And it's still growing every day.
1 trillion pieces? Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, no cleanup crew is gonna be able to finesse this. It's impossible, bro. No cleanup crew is gonna be able to finesse this. Why nobody ever used this gun sword? They got gun lances? And what this is on Monster Hunter World timing?
The sword was fixed to the top of the gun, allowing you to either slash down your enemy or shoot them.
What the f, bro? Got Ghost of Tsushima weapons? That's actually kind of insane. I'm not gonna hold.
Either slash down your enemy or shoot them. But if you shot at the wrong angle, the recoil would send the blade back towards your face. And for the sword to be stable, it had to be screwed to the gun's handle, which would make it impossible to load the magazine. Now, only one of these has ever been found, and the trigger, magazine, and bolt were all missing, meaning this was probably just a gimmick and never actually used.
I guess that's why we only see it in video games, bro, and like anime, because like this probably wouldn't. I'm not saying it couldn't work. There's probably a way for this to effectively work, but it's probably not the most effective way of fighting, bruh. COD Scorcher, you might as well dual wield them, bruh.
If you jumped over
what makes us come up with these? Can a giant hairdryer make you float?
a gigantic hairdryer, could you float in the air? Well, a normal hairdryer pushes out enough air to make a ping pong ball float. But to lift you, it would need to be as powerful as a jet engine, blasting scorching air at hundreds of degrees. The force would slam your body with so much pressure, it could break bones and damage your lungs from the inside. And in just a moment, the intense heat would burn you up instantly.
Well, I don't think that will happen to anybody. Hopefully, nobody ends up in a situation with a giant hair dryer, because holy, hair dryers already be feeling uncomfortable. So I definitely understand. But yeah, he's cooked in more ways than one. What happens when you swallow Mentos and Coke? Yo, I'm not gonna lie, finding out that like in like science class that if you put Mentos and Coke, have you ever went home to actually test it out yourself to see if it works? Because sometimes you don't believe things when you see it until you actually do it. I've never done it. I just used to watch like used to do it like on like iPhone videos, or would just like put the Coke bottle in their mouth and then watch that explode. And I never did it. Didn't Solid did it? Solid definitely did it.
If you drank Coke and then swallowed Mentos, you might think the reaction would rip through your torso. But the explosion only happens when the gas builds up fast in a tight, narrow space, and your stomach is way too wide to create that reaction. Even if it was, drinking the Coke releases most of the gas before it gets there. Instead, the mixture would foam up, filling your stomach. It would painfully stretch to hold the expanding foam, causing you to violently vomit to relieve pressure.
Ooh, what the f, bruh? This was built like that motherfucking fat dude from another video. YouTube is not gonna get what I'm talking about, but like the pregnant dude we just seen, bro. This is 9 months pregnant. Ooh, I've always wanted to know how to moonwalk. I'm not gonna cap to you, bro. They used to say that Michael Jackson had like some like special type of shoes that allowed him to do it, but I don't know if it's facts or not, bro.
If you
for me, subs to try, why do y'all want me to pass out so much?
Want to moonwalk, start with 1 foot flat and the other on its toes. While your heel stays lifted, the flat foot glides straight back across the floor. Now it looks like your raised foot is moving, but it actually stays in place while your flat one slides on the floor. And as it moves, your body stays completely level. Then you switch your feet. The sliding foot rises onto its toe, and the other drops flat. Now that foot slides back just like the first. Then keep repeating. One foot glides, the other lifts. And as your legs move, the rest of you looks like it's floating in place.
Oh,
One moonwalk.
you just walk it backwards. What you gonna tell me, man? What the? I'm really like that. I ain't gonna hold. Sup, tube? What's up, man? Oh, that don't hit like that. Yo, what's up, guys? Hey, bro, hey, bro, just come to Twitch, Twitch Blue Ride right here. Follow up. We're about to hit 200K. Please follow up and stuff like that. Come to the stream. If you don't watch streams, I didn't ask. Come to the streams and stuff like that. And then there's a gaming channel and a live channel. Come follow the live channel too. And then you can get back to your video and stuff like that. But just go ahead and do that, and it's in the link down below. And yeah, go ahead and do that. Soldier bit bullets during surgery. Like, bro, this is having the craziest titles. Cause how the did this even happen?
The bullet would be placed into your mouth as you bit down hard. And this would happen during surgery on a battlefield. You see, there was no anesthetic, meaning you would feel every slice and tug. The bullets were made of a soft metal that wouldn't damage your teeth. And while it didn't stop the pain, it gave soldiers something to clench and focus on. And this is what it meant to bite the bullet.
Oh, that's what they mean when they say bite the bullet, bruh? Is that why people had to bite the pillow while in back shots and like those? That's tough, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all might as well have taken me out at that point, bro. Why I put question marks? The trick to guessing jelly beans in a jar. What's the likelihood that I'm gonna end up in a situation where I gotta guess how many jelly beans is in a jar, bro?
To guess the number of jelly beans in a jar, measure its height and its radius. Then multiply pi by the radius cubed. This will find the area of the jar. Multiply the area by the height to calculate the space.
I'm not doing all that, bro. I'm not gonna hold you, gang. Like, I'm dead. I'm not doing all that. Y'all, on my soul, I'm not doing all that. I'm not gonna lie to you, gang. Like, y'all just got it. I would just say like 457, and then we can keep it going, bro.
Area by the height to calculate the space inside. Now, since jelly beans don't stack perfectly, about 20% of the jar is filled with air, meaning you should reduce the number by 20%. Now, one jelly bean takes up about 0.2 cubic inches. So divide the jar's jelly bean volume by 0.2.
What's the likelihood? I was gonna say, what's the likelihood? You better have a calculator on you, but everybody got a phone now. So they use their calculator like that. But like, bro, what's the prize? What are usually the prizes for guessing the amount of jelly beans in a jar? Like, you get like, what do you get, bro?
2 cubic inches. You'll then have a solid guess of how many jelly beans are inside.
The jar. Okay, like, bro, you could get 3 jelly bean bags and be just as fat. Free tacos, the candy, a piece of candy, all that, bro, for like minimal.
What's the number of jelly beans in a jar?
Is it worth it? I mean, if you want to do all that for that, then I mean, go ahead, bro. What if you put a rocket on a Cybertruck?
If you put a rocket engine onto a Cybertruck, you might think you would get the fastest vehicle in the world. But as soon as it started, the tires would be ripped off the car and the frame would bend. The windows would shatter and the body would melt. Even the road underneath you would melt into a scorched trench. And regular brakes couldn't stop it, meaning even if the car did survive, you...
Holy, yo, gang, they paint splattered your, bro. Gang, they made you into a mosaic painting, bro. That's like the most crash test. Would you survive this car accident? And you know, well, you wouldn't, bro. They turned you into paint splatter, bro. Strawberry jam, gang, you was fossilized.
The car did, meaning even if the car did survive, you wouldn't.
Well, RIP that.
The soldier's foot would collapse the top plate, pushing a metal fire.
Have we seen this one? I know we've seen one about a mine before, but I don't know if it's this one.
Pin downward. The pin then strikes a small detonator hidden inside the mine. And this ignites the main explosive packed just beneath your foot. The blast straight upward, just strong enough to blow off your lower leg at the shin, where the bone is thinner and easier to sever. And because it was designed to injure, not kill, it slowed the entire unit down.
And I wonder why I don't want to go to war, bro. Bro, do you see this? Bro, with getting his leg contorted, his leg doing all types of maneuvers like those. Like, we not tanking these, right? I'm not going, bro. I'm not going, bro. Why you shouldn't stand near trains? You have to tell people not to stand near trains? Jesus, man. Holy.
If you stand too close to a speeding train, a wall of air will slam into you. This happens because the train pushes the air in front of it as it reaches high speeds, forming an invisible wave. And as it rushes forward, it drags the air along the sides with it, creating suction that's strong enough to pull you forward. In just a second, it can drag you down onto the tracks and directly into its wheel.
Final destination is death, bro. Oh, bro, he put his in a blender, gang. Bro had death by air pressure.
Just a second, it can drag you down onto the tracks and directly into its wheels.
I never found myself walking directly near a train, and I don't plan on it. But just in case you thought you were going to do that, then there you go.
Through the water.
Electrocute the whole ocean. No, I know somebody has that. Tried to test that before to see if they can kill all the ocean, bro, with one toaster.
If you dropped a toaster into the ocean, it would send a shockwave through the water strong enough to kill a fish. But what if you wanted to electrify the entire ocean? Well, you would need two toasters the size of a continent, placed on opposite sides of the Earth. Together, they would send electric currents ripping through the water, powerful enough to reach most of the sea.
Who's Aquaman's op, bro? Don't give him no ideas, gang.
But powering something that massive would require more electricity than the entire planet could generate.
Oh, okay. So it's like it couldn't realistically. Well, obviously it's two giant toasters, but like I don't know, bro. I don't know. Black Manta, yeah, don't let that hear it, bro. Don't let that hear it, bro. Can you cheat the roulette wheel? Have y'all ever like real life gambled before?
If you know how fast a roulette wheel is spinning and exactly where the ball starts, you can actually predict where it'll land. Now this works by using motion physics, because as the ball slows down, it drops from the outer rim and bounces toward the center. By timing exactly how long it takes, you can figure out how much the wheel has rotated during that interval. This lets you estimate which section of numbers will be under the ball when it lands. And scientists tested this.
It was either Persona or One Piece, bro. I think it was Persona, bro. Where they had the glass on top of it, so no matter how many times you rolled, you would never get anything.
Winning more than they lost. But casinos fight back, training dealers and watching for cheats.
I just feel like this is a scam. Like, I've never played the roulette game, so I don't know. But I just feel like this is literally meant for you to lose, bro. How early multi-shot guns work?
Bullets were stacked between layers of gunpowder inside the barrel. When the trigger was pulled, a spark shot into the first touch hole and ignited the charge inside. This shot the first bullet out of the gun, and the lock was then moved down to the next one. The shooter could
Is this the first switch in my
fire again and again.
Oh!
Cocking and pulling the trigger. But if the bullets were too small, the charge would ignite on all 5, causing an explosion and blowing off the shooter's hand.
Switch with motherfucking risk, man. Whenever this timeline was, bro, you might have to take that risk, bro. Hold on, let me play that again.
It's the barrel. When the trigger was pulled, a spark shot into the first touch hole and ignited the charge inside. This shot the first bullet out of the gun, and the lock was then moved down to the next one. The shooter could fire again and again by sliding, cocking, and pulling the trigger. But if the bullets were too small, the charge would ignite on all 5, causing an explosion and blowing off the shooter's hand. Bullets were stacked.
Yo, these videos are actually really, like interesting, bro. I'm not gonna hold. Could Earth spin fling you into space?
If the Earth spun faster than normal, would we be flung straight into space? Well, gravity is what keeps us stuck to the Earth. But as the planet spins, it does create a small amount of outward force, but nowhere near enough to launch you, since it takes an entire day for the Earth to totally rotate. But if Earth sped up until it rotated once every hour, this outward force would be stronger than the force of gravity. At that speed, you would technically weigh nothing, and you'd be shot off the planet and out into space.
That would be very unfortunate, bro. How underbite surgery works. Does anybody have an underbite or an overbite? Does anybody have that?
The surgeon makes careful cuts inside your mouth, along both
Oh my god, bro. This is going to be a hard watch, bro.
Along both sides of your lower jawbone. Then they separate the jaw and slide it backward into a new correct position that lines up with your upper teeth. Once it's aligned, they secure it in place with tiny metal plates and screws. Finally, dissolvable stitches close the cuts inside your mouth. As your new jaw heals, the bone fills the gaps and locks the position permanently, fully correcting your underbite.
When I was going through my whole Invisalign process like that, the doctor was recommending that I get my gums shaved. Why he look at me like that, I have no idea. So the doctor was recommending me to get my gums shaved. Like, they really cut your, like, they like will shave your, like, your gums right here. They just shave it. They're shaving it. They're cutting it off so you have more teeth than gums, basically. They have procedures like that. I forget what they call it. Bro, I went to really go research it, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna chop that joint up to the game. I heard that there could be a lot of side effects to it, bro. Like, you could, your gums could forever be on like hurt type time, and like there was a lot of like crazy with it, bro. And I was like, bro, I don't want to do all that. I could never do no like surgery where it involves my jaw getting cracked. I ain't gonna lie. Money shredding alarm clock.
You put the money in the alarm clock before.
Y'all have a male doctor touch y'all balls? Me neither. Regardless.
You put the money in the alarm clock before you go to sleep. And when it goes off the next morning, it starts a timer. If you don't get up before it stops, it triggers a small motor which pulls the bill into the clock. Razor-sharp blades shred it, destroying the bill while you sleep. And when you do finally wake up, the remains are waiting for you inside the clock. You put the money in the alarm clock before you go to sleep. And when it goes off the next morning, it starts a timer. If you don't get up,
that's actually insane. So you have to get up. Nah, I'm not getting just get a regular alarm clock, bro. Is it that difficult to wake up, bro, where you gotta put yourself in constant fear, bro? What the I can't do that. How the gravity defying lean? You got gravity defying lean, gang. What the? That's lit, man.
The shoe would hook onto a metal peg that popped up from the floor. Once locked in, the shoes held his foot in place, preventing him from falling over. And this allowed him to lean far beyond what the human body can normally balance. But as he leaned, he had to keep his entire body completely stiff, meaning without that control, his body would just collapse forward.
Yo, MJ had control like. Yo, MJ, what you doing, gang?
Even with the shoes holding him up.
Yo, MJ had control, gang, to do all that. He had a lot of body strength.
And this allowed him to lean far beyond what the human body can normally balance. But as he leaned, he had to keep his entire body completely stiff, meaning without that control, his body would just.
The aura held him up. Yo, W Glaze, but it's MJ, so I get it, bro. How vacuum hoses cause hickeys?
If you stick a vacuum hose on your neck,
what about? Never mind.
Strong suction pulls at your skin, stretching it and breaking tiny blood vessels underneath. These vessels leak blood, creating a noticeable bruise. To stop it, grab a cold spoon and press it onto the bruise right away. The cold metal begins to cool down the area, causing your blood vessels to shrink, and this slows down the bleeding under the skin, meaning less blood spreads out, which leaves less of a mark. If you stick a vacuum
I don't know why. WWII methods. What the f? Yo, everybody thought about putting a body part in the vacuum hose. Like once, like on who we ain't all think about doing that at least one time, bro. That hole that just be sucking shit, bro. Pause. Not even on some crazy shit, but like nobody thought to do that. Who's everybody? Like the real is, bro. Real is though, bro. Bro, what? I'm just telling the truth, man. You caught? I'm not even caught. I'm just telling that, yo, God forbid, bro. I ain't gonna lie. They hate people that tell the truth. Martin Luther King was hated because he told the truth. What if a human was the bullet? What?
You can put almost anything in a shotgun shell and it'll still work. So if you had a shotgun the size of a building and a shell big enough to fit you, could you load yourself into it? Well, technically yes, but the moment the gunpowder ignites, you'd be launched out at 1,000 miles per hour. The acceleration would crush your body instantly.
God, Flash Stanley, bro.
And if that didn't kill you, the burning hot gases would cook you alive. Now, even if you somehow managed all that, blasting out of the barrel would tear you apart.
Holy so you're just 1,000% cooked. Motherfuckers having Mortal Kombat type convulsions happen to them.
For a while I wanted to put the vacuum to my eye, but mom stopped me.
You said you want to put the vacuum to your what? Oh, to your eye. I thought you said you want to put the vacuum to your butt. I was about to say, gang. I was about to say, bro. You cooked, bro. You're cooked, bro. The Legend of the Loyal Dog.
He found his dog covered in blood, according to the legend. He rushed into the baby's room, only to find the crib knocked over and dripping with red. His baby boy was nowhere to be found. Enraged, the man pulled out his sword and slayed his own dog who had killed his child. But as the dog let out his final breath, a baby's cry rang through the room. He was safe under the crib, and next to him was the body of a wolf. You see, his dog had actually killed the wolf to protect the baby.
Grown man cry, bro. That does make a grown man cry, bro. That's some anime type plot lines, bro. What the? Come on, man. You ain't fact check, bro. Now the baby got, like, you gotta take out the baby breast compensation, bro. Like, it's the only way to make things right. That sucks, gang. Why I putting question marks, man? It's the only, bro. What that say? Hold on. What do you say?
Humankind cannot gain anything without first giving something in return.
Y'all know the rest, man. Come on, bro. He gotta kill the baby too. In GTA, of course. Could you survive in a microwave?
If you were put in a microwave, the water molecules in your body would heat up because of the radiation being beamed at you. Your skin would start to burn and blister, and you'd quickly go blind. Your organs would boil and then break open, causing internal bleeding, and gas pockets in your digestive system would
I'm glad bro always tells us all the ways that we can die, even if it's the most unrealistic way of all time. I'm glad that we're finding out all the ways that we could possibly go out, bro, because what the
expand until your stomach burst. Within just a few minutes, your body would be destroyed, and you'd be cooked from the inside out.
That's insane, man. The Mystery of Coral Castle. It sounds like a SpongeBob episode, bro. What the?
They watched the mysterious man move into the village, and soon enormous stones appeared on his land. Every time they looked, a new one would be there, stacked perfectly on top of the others. Now these
said coral. Hey, shut the f up. It said Fortnite location, bro.
Perfectly on top of the others. Now, these stones weighed up to 21 tons each, but there were never any other workers or machinery. And since he worked in secret, no one ever saw how he was moving them. When they asked, he claimed he knew the ancient secrets. Some neighbors believed he was lifting the stones with supernatural powers.
Earthbender?
He even claimed he knew how the pyramids were built. But when he died, he took his secret to the grave, leaving only the castle behind.
What the f, bro? Mysterious marbles has powers over all Earth? Tall? Might be tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. Earthbending, W. Ford mentioned. Texas lottery scandal.
If you bought every possible lottery number, would it guarantee that you would win the jackpot? Well, one guy actually tried this. He set up a lottery business and bought ticket machines that would print out about 100 tickets every 10 seconds. Each one cost $1, and since there were 26 million possible combinations, he spent $26 million on his plan. The lottery finally drawn, he of course had the winning ticket, and after expenses, he still made over $30 million. But after that, they changed the rules, meaning you can't try this yourself.
Just doing it for the love of the game, bro. Like, there's somebody out there who really need it. I'm just doing it for the love of the game, though, bro. Like, at this point, that's very ridiculous, bro. How chain smoking device works.
Slide 20 cigarettes into the metal frame, packed tightly side by side. Each one connects to a funnel that feeds into a single metal mouthpiece. To light them, you strike a match and run it across the row, igniting all 20 at once. Smoke pours
Yeah, this motherfucker's not gonna live past like 25.
through the chamber and into the narrow tube. When you take a drag, air pulls through every cigarette at the same time, which means with every breath, you're inhaling an entire pack, as if one cigarette wasn't deadly enough.
I'm so glad cigs fell out of fruition, bro. I'm so glad they fell out of style, because honestly, if you're dead smoking a cigarette in 2025, you just know that you just don't love yourself. I'm just assuming that's what it is really coming down to, bro. That you just dead don't love yourself, bro. The warrior who fought without hands.
They cut off his hands as punishment, then sent him back to his people with instructions to surrender. But the warrior convinced them to keep fighting, and instead of sitting out the battle, he sealed his wounds with hot metal. Next,
That face is crazy, I'm not gonna hold. Bro, we're getting the craziest neck of all time, bro. What the
next he tied knives to his wrists.
Oh,
Then they went to war, cut down his enemy, including the general's second in command. Eventually, his people were defeated, but even though they lost, the warrior fought till the very end.
That's dead insane. That's dead insane. I'm not gonna, or that's like max or I'm not gonna hold, bruh.
Gas generator
This gonna be
ignites,
like the last couple.
creating a blast of hot gas that turns the water at the bottom into steam, pushing the nuke out of the launch tube. It rockets upward, breaking through the ocean's surface in just seconds. Once it's clear of the water, the missile's first stage engines ignite, propelling the missile high into the upper atmosphere. Then it detaches, and the second stage engine fires, sending it even farther and faster. Finally, the third stage carries the warheads into space. There, they separate and begin falling back to Earth, each locked in on its own target.
That's wild, bro. That's wild, bro. That's kind of wild. Let's make this the last one. Then we gotta go to 808s.
Your teeth come loose, falling out into your hand one by one. Now, this is one of the most common nightmares people have. You see, teeth can be a symbol of strength and appearance. And since they're one of the first things people notice, losing them feels like losing control. So some people think this is your brain's way of processing stress. But in reality, it actually happens when you clench your teeth while sleeping. You see, your brain takes these physical feelings and weaves them into vivid dreams of your teeth falling out, trying to make sense of the pain while you sleep.
I thought I was getting some crazy back shots. Not gonna hold you, bro. Well, that's gonna be it for Zack D, bro. We're gonna go ahead and put these on the main channel, bro. I'm not gonna lie, like half the motherfuckers in this video passed away. I'm not gonna hold you, bro. Like, this is actually very, very ridiculous. If y'all want us to watch more Zack D, let me know, bro. On YouTube, y'all have been asking for it, so we could do it a little bit more like those. But if you're watching this on the tube, WWII in the description. Come to the motherfucking stream, come to the stream. But yeah, IBBG. Alright.